Good day, fellas. I hope you are ready for your daily dose of skill, and today you are going to see my thoughts about the new crew perks coming into the game. NAS server should have this today, and EOS server should have it tomorrow. I have a good news for every and each of you. Not today, but tomorrow we are going to have this beauty. Skill, what is this? Well, if you would pay attention at this is my setup and Daki setup on 279E, and you will be able to see everything how we recommend, what is the order of the skills, and overall how do I recommend to do the things, obviously on Daki. In the future, we are going to add Death Games and Mouse Acrobat as well, so you will have 4 content creators set up, but I can tell you one thing, this is butt ton of work, okay? It is not so simple, it is not so easy. That being said, we have an event happening this week in World of Tanks Twitch category. We have drops going on. You are pretty much getting yourself a couple of the boosters, 5xx, couple of the boosters and 2D camo, right? That's great, that's awesome, that's amazing. But now there is a twist to this. If you are gifting 2 subscriptions for any World of Tanks content creator, you are getting 5 times 5 experience and brand new camo as well, which is absolutely glorious. This is literally give streamers a boost. This is literally what that is, right? So you can support your favorite content creator, or alternatively you can subscribe yourself and gift a sub and pretty much get yourself a free goodies from Wargaming side. This is nuts, fellas, and this is absolutely crazy, fellas. This is absolutely crazy. If you want to get goodies, feel free to tune in into any World of Tanks content creator stream, or you can tune in into mine and we can have some fun. Meanwhile, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let's deal with the crew skills and let's see what we can do and how we can approach the current situation, right? What skills are useful, at least in my opinion, what skills are not so useful, and what do I recommend to get and what I do not recommend to get. And for now, folks, I apologize. You need to wait one day until everything will be dropped in the index page. That's it's just how it goes. We plan it this way. I apologize for that. Anyways, Brother in Arms Concealment Repairs. Nothing too crazy, nothing unusual. You know exactly what that does. We do not need to dig deeper. Now, Recon. Recon is good thing just to boost view range, right? It is completely normal. We had this skill and we still do. It is a good skill. I recommend to take it on pretty much most of the tanks if you want to have a better view range. Emergency, this is interesting one. Increasing crew efficiency bonus by 5% for 15 seconds after taking damage. Effect does not stack. What is this, fellas? Imagine the situation. You are playing with a mouse. Tar, 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 tar. You are going through the open field and bam, someone hit you. What that means? That means you are getting extra ventilation on the tank for 15 seconds after you are taking damage. So where this skill goes, think about it in this way. Usually whenever you are taking damage, you want your tank to be better, you want to shoot back, you want to reload faster and whatnot. So this is powerful skill, mostly for heavy tanks or heavily armored tanks or even medium tanks. This is important. Mentor increases amount of experience earned by 20% for all crew members. Enables commander to replace knocked out crew member with 65 efficiency. This is also pretty strong skill if you would ask me. I mean, ignore this part with experience. Just think about replacing knocked out crew member with 65% of effectiveness, and I think the Brother in Arms will do their job and whatnot, right? So this is also powerful, but I would not take as a first skill. Never, ever, ever. This is more likely towards the 6th skill category, at least in my opinion. Practicality decreases consumable cooldown by 10 seconds. As every of you know, repair kit will take 90 seconds to recharge. With this skill, it will take 81 seconds. Right? Do I think it's powerful? No. I think this is literally useless. But that's only me. Some people obviously will use the big repair kits, which will take 60 seconds to restock itself, so you are going to deal with 54 seconds. And I'm not entirely sure is ventilation boosting the time as well for this skill or not, but either way you get the point. I think practicality is for the most part useless skill. Now, sound detection. It decreases it decreases the negative effect of the stun by 10%. So pretty much this is a good stuff. You are still decreased. Let's say you are stunned for 10 seconds. You are still stunned for 10 seconds, but effect of the stun is a bit slightly better, which is actually quite important thing, to be fair with you. Although it is not. How to describe this for me? I know when Arta is shooting me, because whenever I'm playing with the sounds, right, I know there's a sound. I know Arta is coming. So for me, it's kind of meh. But to be fair with you, this can be definitely useful for many players out there. And last but not least, on Commander, we have coordination, increases aiming speed by 12.5 seconds for 15 seconds after you spot enemy vehicle. So this is quite an interesting thing. It is not a horrible thing, honestly. Imagine that you are playing with a heavy in the ridge line. Prokurovka. You are peeking through the hill, you are spotting someone, your aiming speed is better by 12.5%. Is it bad? I don't really think it is, but I think there is better skills overall. Moving on next, snapshot. Everyone knows the snapshot. Deadeye. Everyone knows the Deadeye. It is the skill which we have in the game for quite some time, right? Pretty much snapshot whenever you are moving your turret, or even gun mantlet if we are talking about the tank destroyers. The dispersion is just simply better, so instead of having bloom like this, you have bloom like this. Deadeye, you have a bigger chance to do the critical hits for the enemies. This is absolutely amazing. Let's say you are shooting someone into ammo rack, you have a bigger chance to explode the ammo rack. Designated target increases the time before an enemy vehicle is no longer visible. But you need to point towards the enemy. It's not a lazy skill. You need to have the direct pointing towards the enemy forces, which is annoying, but that's okay. But now, would you look at that? They combine a designated target with other skill which we had before, and nowadays you will be able to see what kind of damaged models enemies has. Let's say you are fighting against the mouse or whatever that is. You are pointing directly to the mouse and you say, aha, engine damaged, ammo rack damaged, commander damaged. It's absolutely amazing, and you can get plenty of use in this way, right? Concentration decreases the gun dispersion of stationary vehicle by 3.5%. Effect starts 3 seconds after vehicle stops. Now, this would be a powerful thing. I think this would be absolutely amazing and very powerful, but there is one but. You know the tank destroyers with a low arc or small arc? You need to constantly move, And I'm pretty sure it will count as you are moving, right? What do I mean by saying this? It is not going to be as powerful as it could be. Or let's say for some medium tanks, maybe it's okay if you are sniping from the red line. But overall, everyone has this bloody, how to say this, habit. Whenever you are moving in front and back, right? If you have this habit, this skill is going to be absolutely disgusting and not really useful, especially for tank destroyers, right? But overall, if you love sniping from the red line, if you like to take your bush and just sit there, maybe it is going to work. Quick aiming increases aiming speed and turret rotation by 2.5%. Honestly, I think this is such a small buff, it is kind of irrelevant, with all honesty. I just do not see anything extraordinary with this. Armor reduces range of potential damage and penetration by 20 to 20%. So pretty much what that means it is taking the lower percentage of the RNG and higher percentage of the RNG. Let's say, okay, as an example, you have 400 alpha damage. The minimum roll of 400 alpha damage would be 300. But since you have this perk, your minimum alpha damage would be 320. Same goes for a high rolls. If your high roll is 500, it would be 480 at this point. It is not bad thing by any shape or any form. I think good players will get significantly more use of this compared to less experienced players because RNG matters, right? And by the way, same goes for the penetration values as well. So keep this in mind. It's not bad, fellas. It is not bad. Moving on next, driver. Clutch braking, you are turning a bit faster. Smooth ride, whenever you are driving, your bloom is not that big. Off-road driving reduces the speed loss on moderately soft terrain. We had this skill before, right? Moving on next, relatable placement increases high explosive damage absorption by 10% and decreases damage received from falling by 30%. This is quite nice, if you would ask me, but I would not go with this skill as a first one by any shape or any form. Okay, what is the use of this? I can imagine that you are playing with a heavy tank and Arta is constantly zungsht, 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 rain on you, right? With this, you are going to lose a bit less of the hit points. And in the same time, I think this is only one use pretty much. Either against the Arta, either against the trash burns and whatnot. Meanwhile, controlled impact increases ramming damage to the enemy vehicle by 20%. Fellas, I do not know how about you, but I think this is pretty good stuff. Reduces ramming damage to your vehicle by 25%, so you are doing more damage than you are taking. And your suspension by 50%. Pretty much this is for a troll builds in a way, or alternatively you are taking this as a 6th skill or something like this, right? Moving on next, engineer increases the top forward speed and reverse speed by your vehicle by 1 km/h and reduces the penalty to damaged engine by 20%. This is absolutely amazing for slower tanks, even for faster tanks. You are just a bit faster in the game, right? And let's get real. Would you rather be faster every and each moment of the game, or would you rather take less damage from high explosive shells whenever Arta or someone with high explosives are shooting you? I mean, it's no-brainer. You are taking engineer, right? Moving on, next, Adrenaline Rush, you know how it actually it got changed a bit. Decreases the gun loading time by 5% if your vehicle has under 25% of the hit points. In my opinion, Adrenaline Rush became significantly better compared to the previous Adrenaline Rush, because previous Adrenaline Rush was you need to have below 10% of your hit points, so if you have 2000 HP, you need to have under 200 HP. And you were getting 10% increase for reload time. Now, it is under 25 HP, so let's say you have 2000 hit points. That means under 500 HP, you will get half of the rammer for yourself. That's pretty strong if you would ask me. Saves storage, nothing too crazy. Saves your ammo rack, intuition, nothing too crazy. You are switching faster between the shells. Perfect charge. This is an interesting one, which, in my humble opinion, is not very useful for most of the tanks apart Artas. Increases shell velocity by 10%. So let's say, if you have a tank that has shell velocity of 1000, you can make that tank to have shell velocity of 1.1000. Is it a big difference? You tell me. Although I can imagine you can have quite some crazy builds. For example, take this on key 91, which has already 1.6 thousand shell velocity, and then you can push it up to 1.8 thousand or something like this. But is it useful in the game? I do not know. I think there is better and more useful stuff. Close combat decreases gun loading time by 2.5 seconds at the distance 50 meters or less from the enemy vehicle. This is whenever you are playing in very close range. Maybe it is fine whenever you are playing with IS-7 and you are ramming someone, you know, and just having a lot of fun. But overall, for most of the tanks, in my humble opinion, it is kind of useless. Because you need to understand that 50 meters is not very close range. It's proxy spotting range. You need to be very, very close in order to get some use from all of this. Also, ammo tuning increases minimum potential damage and minimum potential penetration by 2%. Ammo tuning is literally giving you better DPM, and it is fixing the luck, or I suppose to say RNG won't go minus 25, RNG can go only minus 23. Is it a good perk? In my opinion, yes, but I think this perk is mostly for very good players, in my opinion. Because casual player won't feel the difference between this 2%. I don't really think I would feel the difference between this 2%, but it has its point and where it can be used. Meanwhile, radio operator, situational awareness, so pretty much boosting your view range, that's great. Side by side increases crew efficiency bonus by 2.5% at the distance 50 meters or less from an ally vehicle of the same type. I do not really know where to use this skill. I mean, heavy tank, fine. With a heavy tank you can play banana corner, you know, there is always heavy tanks. But I think it's very situational. Or Kempenovka on top of the hill, or Ruinberg, doesn't really matter. Whenever there is a big amount of the heavies going. Or if you are sniping, you need to sit near other tank destroyer. But overall, it is too situational in my opinion. Jamming decreases your vehicle spotting time by 1 second. Okay, so overall, if you are getting spotted in World of Tanks, it is taking 10 seconds flat for you to be spotted, right? By having this skill, it will take 9 seconds. With all honesty, I do not have a single tank that I'm using this skill for. Why so? Because I find it extremely useless, because 1 second won't change shit. If this 1 second would save you, right, and you haven't died, that means you kind of messed up already, you know? I think 1 second is irrelevant, with all honesty. That's how I look into all of this, and even for light tanks, so even for ELC, I think there is better skills that you could take. Firefighting, and each of you knows firefighting. Whenever you do not have fire extinguisher, you can be lit on fire, and whenever you are lit on fire, your tank is burning, but with firefighting skill, it burns less, and you won't lose as much hit points. That's good. Communication expert, I think this is useful one. Increases the crew efficiency bonus by 2.5% if amount of the damage you assisted exceeded your vehicle initial hit points. Now, why do I think it is a good thing? Let's say you are playing Prokurovka, Kempenovka, whatever else. Even with a heavy tank you can spot, although you need to spot a lot. So let's say for heavy tanks it's not so good, although you can do that. With a Patriot or whatever else, doesn't matter. Let's talk light tanks. With a Manticore, how hard it is to spot 1.5 thousand assisting damage? I don't think it's hard, is it? For light tanks, I think this is no-brainer. You need to have it, for sure. For medium tanks, I think you need to have it. For tank destroyers, it's debatable, but yet still you are sitting with a tank destroyer in the bush and enemies are just simply making pressure at you, right? It's not that bad. Anyways, I think this skill has a lot of potential. I don't think it's very powerful because percentage isn't that great, but I think it has potential. And last but not least, Signal interception decreases the time to determine whenever your vehicle has been spotted by enemy by 0.75 seconds. Pretty much with ventilation and other skills, brother in arms, I think it is going to be pretty much 1 second. So you are getting spotted instead of 3 seconds before. You are getting spotted. Well, okay. Whenever, first of all, let's start from that. Whenever you are getting spotted in the world of tanks, you have a Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is activated 3 seconds after you have been spotted, right? With this skill, it will be activated, let's say, 2 seconds after you got spotted. Honestly speaking, some people are saying that it's very powerful skill. For me, I don't really see the point. I think for most of the tanks it's not going to be so useful, but obviously we are going to do some more tests and we are going to figure out how the things are going to look like. But for now, sure, light tanks can use it, sure, medium tanks can use it, heavy tanks, I really don't think so. Tank destroyers could use it as well, sitting in the bush. But once again, I think there is a bit better skills out there. Anyways, we went through all and every skills here just to say what do I think about it and where it could be useful and what it does. From tomorrow, you are going to have our recommendations in the index page. And for the next probably months, I am going to test the tanks with a different setups and with a different loadouts, right? And if we are going to find something better, we are going to change it pretty much weekly or daily in the index, and you will see that in the changes tab as well, right? So keep this in mind. Anyways, fellas, I appreciate you. I hope you are going to have a lot of fun with those new crew skills, and I hope you are going to enjoy the game more. And for now, thank you very much for watching and see you very, very soon. Skill is out for today. Peace.